Hello everyone and welcome back to Georgia Paper Crafts. This is Amber again and we are making 5 Mother's Day cards today. We're using products from the Doodlebug Simply Spring collection, which I'm showing here. Just a quick overview, along with some other stamps and dies that I have for my stash, which I will make sure that you're aware of what I'm using when I do use it. But here I'm just showing that I have a variety of products from the Simply Spring collection, the odds and ends, and the Chit Chat that'll help me make these cards, along with some stickers. I actually made one card out of pretty much all stickers, and I really liked how it turned out. So starting with card number 1, I wanted to use this little boy, and I thought he would be cute if he's kind of standing on a hill, holding his kite, flying it, and telling his mom that she is his sunshine. So I'm trying to make a background here by doing some ink blending with some Simon Says stamp, I think that's Audrey Blue ink, and I'm not having a very easy time. I don't think it's blending really well. I didn't use any special cardstock, it's just some from my stash, so it could be very possible that it's not blending real well because of the cardstock that I have. But I decided to go ahead and go with it. I also cut out a hillside border from one of the pieces of patterned paper, and then I'm just kind of laying down some of my ephemera pieces here to try and see how I like it to look. Now, one thing I did want to do was add a mom sentiment, the word mom. So I pulled out my Simon Says stamp, Mom's CLEMATIS stamp set, and I believe this came out last year, and I'm just using the word mom here, and I'm going to stamp that in burnt orange ink from Simon Says stamp. Just trying to get everything placed. Now the sun and the clouds that I die cut out of some of the cardstock come from one of the die sets from Fawn, a real old die set. It's called Spring Showers. I don't even know if it's available anymore. I'll have to do a little research on that, and I'll link below if it is. But it's a die set that comes with the sun and some clouds, some raindrops and stuff, and I just cut the sun and the clouds out of coordinating pattern paper from the set, and I'm just adding it on here. So as usual, I'm using my glue. I altered between the Simon Says stamp glue and the Nuvo glue. I like both of those. They seem to hold really well. Just trying to figure out where to put everything. The sentiment here says, "You are my sunshine." So the card is going to read, "Mom, you are my sunshine." You know, the good thing about also using glue is kind of like you're seeing here. Obviously, I didn't like how I put on that cloud. It was a little off to the side, so I was able to pull it up because it hadn't adhered fully yet, so I was able to pull it up and realign it. And here you can see I'm kind of just edging up the edge of the die cut so that I could pop this under, and that's easier to do when you use glue. That's one of the reasons why I like to use it. I'm just cutting off the excess here, trying to get everything trimmed up, neatened up. Now once I'm finished with all of this, I want to go ahead and add a little bit of additional embellishment on here, and I like to do that by adding some white gel pen, sometimes to the cheeks, sometimes to the clothing. Just depends. Here you can see I put it on the kite just to try and help it make it pop out a little bit more. After that, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it using my glue to a side folding A2 size card, which I made from heavyweight cardstock that I had in my stash. Once I do that, the card is essentially finished. I do believe, yeah, I did want to bring in some of the Nouveau shimmer pen for the sun. Just try to help it give you a little bit of sparkle. After doing that, I realized that he looked like, kind of like he was just floating there, so I added a little bit of grounding with some in markers, some neutral gray markers. And then here's the finished card. Then moving on to card number 2, I decided to use a couple different colors of the pattern paper, and I cut different pieces out using the MFT Die-Namics horizontal stitch stripes die. And you can see I'm just placing those in the order from big to small, or small to big, or in the middle. Then I'm going to see how I want to put my die cut on there. This is a little boy swinging with a bird sitting on top. Decided to add the sentiment Mama. Now this Mama sentiment also comes from the same Simon Says stamp, Mom's CLEMATIS stamp set. The sentiment that I'm going to use, sentiment die cut I'm going to use is one that says You're Sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And I'm looking to see where exactly I want to put this. And I decide it kind of gets lost with that busy floral background. So I decide to put a little bit of backing on that, colored backing. So I back that with some purple paper, solid purple paper. And then I adhere it down to the bottom. After that, I go ahead and adhere using again my glue to a side folding white card base, which I again made out of heavyweight cardstock from my stash. Then decide to bring in some embellishments. These are just a mix of purple and pink rhinestones. Again, from my stash. I can't remember exactly where I bought these from. Again, I think it's Pretty Pink Posh, but I can't be for sure. I'm just putting them around on the flowers of the tree. Using my crystal katana to help me with that, even though it didn't seem like I'm having a real easy time. Even with the crystal katana, I'm still struggling a little bit. But I'm also using my the medium collage, the collage medium glue, sorry about that, which I think is really good for getting these things to stick pretty well. Once I'm finished putting it around on those flowers, I'm just going to put a couple more around the card. Darken its eyes up with a little black gel pen. Use my white gel pen to add some of the white dots to the cheek. A little highlighting to the clothes there. And my card's all finished. Here's a close-up look. Now moving on to card number 3, this is the card that I use the majority of stickers on. I first cut out a framed frame from the My Favorite Things rectangle frames die. So I cut that out of one piece of pattern paper, and then I cut another one out of a solid piece, and so I get both the frame and the inner piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to use both those pieces for 2 cards. You'll see what I mean in the next one, because I'll use the other ones for the next card. Now here I went ahead and pulled out one of the banners from the CHIT, and this says Love You Bunches, and I'm looking where I want to put that. And now this die is from Simon Says Stamp. It's the Mom die, and it is one of those dies where you get not only the word, but you get the shadow. So I cut the shadow out of some Vellum cardstock, and then I cut the regular word just out of some purple cardstock and just gluing that together. Just kind of looking at placement to see how I want things to sit together. And now the stickers that I pulled out were the ones of the wheelbarrow with the bunches of flowers, and then the little girl holding the flowers, and also a tree or a flower pot, I guess I should say. And I thought I needed a little bit something extra for that right side, so I went ahead and pulled out another one. And I went ahead and adhered that. The other ones I had already put some, or used my anti-static powder tool on the back to take off the tackiness, because I wanted to glue it down using my collage medium glue, which is stronger than just using the stickiness on the back of the stickers. So I had previously done that already, and that's why they're not sticking, and I'm able to kind of move them around. And I'm just trying to decide, do I want this to be on the inside of the frame or the outside of the frame? And I finally decide that I think the inside of the frame is going to work best for this. Now the little girl holding the flowers, I decide I definitely want to pop up. But what I'm going to do first is go ahead and put the frame on, and then I'll look to pop her up using some foam adhesives. Getting that into place. And like I said, I'm just going to, once again, look at everything, make sure everything kind of is where I want it to be. Go ahead and put on the Love You Bunches banner. I'll go ahead and put the foam adhesive on the back of the girl sticker. Didn't want you to have to watch me put all that on and then peel off the back, so I fast forwarded through that, and I got them all on the back, and I'm just putting her down. Then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this mom sentiment. Now, because the vellum, if you use adhesive on it, of course you can see through it, you can see it. So I'm using my Xyron sticker maker here to make this into a sticker, which I really do like to do because it makes it so easy just to put, to get it to stick down, because it doesn't show through the vellum. The adhesive on the back of that does not show through the vellum, and so essentially you're making a sticker with that, you can't see, which is awesome. If that makes sense. I hope that made sense. Alright, so just trying to glue down a couple of the pieces that I didn't quite do a great job on previously. Of course, I want to bring some gems in, and finally I found this triangle gem holder here. I don't know what this is called. It's one of those little things, a holder that's supposed to, you can shake it and all the gems flip over to where you can grab them in the correct way. And I'd say that happens about 80% of the time for me. It doesn't happen 100% of the time, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm, I don't know, jiggling it too hard. I don't know, but I do like having it here because it's easier to find the gems and see what I'm looking at than having them on my glass mat here. So unfortunately, you can see I kind of have a lot of stuff around, so things get hidden sometimes. So this had previously gotten hidden on my desk, and I had to go through my mess to kind of find it, but I'm glad I did. So just doing more gems. I mean, to me, you can't use enough rhinestones for any card with mom. If most moms are like me, I like the bling. I can't help it. I think it really just looks great. All right, so I think I finally have enough on there, and I decide this is done. Here's a final look. Moving on to card number 4, this is where I was saying I was using the other pieces of the cut apart. So when I had cut apart using the My Favorite Things rectangle frames die, I was left with these pieces after the other ones that I used. So I'm just reversing the pattern here. I'm using the purple wood grain on the outside of frame and then the plaid on the inside. And that way, you know, I don't waste anything. I'll go ahead and put my ephemera pieces down to try to see what I want to do. Now this sentiment says bugs and kisses. And I'm, again, trying to line up and decide, do I want the die cut on the outside or the inside? And this time I decide, well, why not on the outside? I think it looks okay. So I went ahead and decided to work with it on the outside. You can see here I'm just trying to decide, and I decide, yeah, go ahead and put down the frame. So I go ahead and get ready to glue that down. Taking a look at all the placement of everything. Getting it glued down. I thought this little girl was very cute. And of course these little animals, even a snail, looks adorable when Doodlebug makes it. Decided I needed one more bug here, so I decided to add the bee. And essentially that's finished. Just going to do some finishing touches to include darkening the eyes with a black Jelly Roll pen, using my white Jelly Roll pen just to add some white dots to the cheeks. A little bit of highlighting on the flower there. And then of course I've got to bring in a little bling. Bring in my leftover rhinestones that I'd used from the previous card, and decide I'll put a couple in there, especially on the flowers. I think I'll put a couple on the flowers and then maybe a few around the side of the card. What this kind of shows is how easy it is to make cards from this Doodlebug collection. I mean, it's really easy. All I did was, you know, put together some of the pattern papers, which coordinate beautifully with each other, and then pick out some of the odds and ends and chit-chats, and I made a card in less than 5 minutes there, and I think it turned out really, really cute. Very pleased with it. These 5 cards came together very quickly. So, and as you can tell, this is a spring themed kit. However, I don't know about you, I don't just make cards that say Happy Spring. So I needed to kind of use them for other cards. So I decided to make the Mom's Day cards, because to me these colors are perfect for Mother's Day cards. So that's, you know, just goes to show the versatility of the Doodlebug collections that you could use, and the different, just how versatile it is. I just personally love Doodlebug and all their collections, and even if I can't use it exactly the way maybe they plan, like the spring, you can kind of use it for a little bit something else. So kind of like these Mother's Day cards. I could also make probably several birthday cards, which I probably will do in another video. All right, so moving on to the last card. I'm using that same mom die cut. This time I got a little bit smarter and put the first die cut, the mom part of it, which I did cut out of Simon Says stamp glitter, green glitter paper. I put it through the Xeron sticker maker to make it a sticker so that I can pull it up and I don't have to put that glue on the back. However, as you can tell, it's very sticky. And that adhesive is all over the place. My fingers are getting all in it. This is a very fine die cut. I'm kind of struggling getting it on there. Takes me a few minutes. Good thing is that the die cut is pretty forgiving. You know, you kind of make it wonky and get it all kind of stretched out, but it goes right back into place really well. Again, I just put that on the Vellum shadow piece. I'm looking at that and thinking that's going to turn out really well. Now I went with a bunch of flower pots or flowers in pots because the sentiment here says love you bunches. Now I know that the sentiment does have a speech bubble on it, but I'm going to cut that off, as you can see right there, because obviously nobody's really speaking, but I just want it to be a sentiment. And again, I want something to help it pop. So I decided I'd add it to this green paper. However, I quickly realized that I don't do well with cutting out circles, as far as I kind of don't cut in a good circle. So I start cutting around here at the matting and I'm all wonky. You know, I'm thicker in some areas than not, and I'm like, oh, it's terrible. So quickly I pull it off, try to get it off and save it before it totally gets stuck on there. And I cut out a scalloped circle from, I believe this is Lawn Fawn scallop circles. Now, this doesn't exactly fit on there. As you can see, it's a little bit too big. I'm trying to make it fit, but yeah, it's not going to fit exactly. The scallop is a little bit too small, so I decided, okay, well, I'll let it hang off the right side a little bit, and then I'll just cut off the excess, and hopefully you won't know. I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these flowers down. As you can see, I got a little crooked on that purple one there, so I will fix it here shortly. And just to let you know, the yellow pattern paper here, that is the other side of, if you remember in card number 1, I had cut that hillside border, or not a border, but a piece to make like a hill, grassy hill. And that's what you see here is what I was left with. So I just adhered that to a green sheet. This way I don't waste anything that I have. I try to make sure that I use, you know, all the pieces, even if I cut something from it previously. I tried to make use of it. So here you can see I'm once again putting it in my Xeron sticker maker, and this time I'm trying to burnish all that adhesive in there so it doesn't kind of glop everywhere. And this time it worked a lot better. Just adhere that right there. And I'm going to bring in my Nuvo Sparkle Shimmer Pen for some of the flowers. Pretty much for all the flowers. And of course I'll have to bring in some rhinestones. It's pretty much been the theme this whole 5 cards, is using some bling for these cards. Before I do that, I guess I'm going to put it on the card base. Once I get that adhered down again, I'll bring in the, I believe this is the confetti rhinestones from Pretty Pink Posh, which just has a lovely mixture of different colored rhinestones, and I'm just adding pretty much ones that are purple or pink into the center there of the flowers. I'll also add some to the side over there, the flower on the side. And scatter a few around the card. And that's the finished card. So before I completely show you the 5 finished ones, I wanted to show you that I did go back and add sentiments on the inside. Here I'm just adding the sentiment Happy Mother's Day, and this comes from the MFT stamp set called Mothers. I'm going to add a sentiment along with a heart to each, to the inside of each card. So the first one, again, this one says Happy Mother's Day. This one I'm trying to decide, since I already have Mom on there and Love You Bunches, I'm trying to decide what other sentiment I might want to put. So I'm kind of looking again at this stamp set from MFT. And I decide to go with the sentiment that says, You're beautiful. Stamp it with that Audrey blue ink. Actually, it says You're so beautiful. Excuse me, You're so beautiful. And then the Happy Mother's Day below it. And then I'll add that little heart. This one with the little boy swinging, I decided to use one of the sentiments from the Simon Says Stamp Mom CLEMATIS stamp set. And this one says, Through the good and the bad, you're always there for me. And of course, Happy Mother's Day. I use the My Favorite Things Navy ink for that, just to let you know. Now this one that says Bugs and Kisses, there was nowhere on the front that had the word Mom. So I wanted to make sure that I did add the word Mom on the inside. So I took a couple of different sentiments from that Mother's stamp set from MFT. Just kind of lining it up to see how I want it to look. And I believe I put, Thanks so much, Mom, you're 1 in a million. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mom, you're 1 in a million. Yeah, that is what says, and then of course the Happy Mother's Day. And here you can see I accidentally got a little bit of the navy ink on the bottom, so I'm using my sand eraser to come in and try and just erase that off, and it's working pretty well there. I'm going to add one of the hearts again. Last but not least, this one that says Mom Love You Bunches on the inside, I am going to use the sentiment that says, oh, what does it say? Let me see. A mother holds your hand for a while, but holds your heart forever. And then Happy Mother's Day. Now I stamped both of those in Fern ink from Simon Says Stamp. That's it. So here's a look at the 5 cards that I made using the Doodlebug Simply Spring collection. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe to my channel and continue to watch my videos. And if you don't mind, down below, comment on the cards you like the most. I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, thank you so much. We'll see you later.